Alan Palazzio gets isekai'd into a fantasy noble's body, learns the world is doomed in 10 years by the 5 great sins, and somehow decides his survival plan is becoming their sponsor. Yeah, my guy woke up in a death flag simulator. Back then, he was a wage slave grinding 78-hour work weeks before possessing a noble from a fantasy game. The good news is he's rich now. The bad news is he can't read the language and has absolutely zero special powers. Bro got the isekai package from the discount bin. Still, life seems pretty great at first. He gets served huge meals, pampered by maids, and basically does nothing all day. Then a maid mentions the Palazzio family, and that's when the panic hits. Right then, he realizes he's inside Psychedelia, a turn-based RPG he used to play whenever he had free time. In every route, the 5 great sins eventually show up and send the entire kingdom into a downward spiral. Nobody gets a happy ending when those guys clock in. Worse, he's part of the Palazzio house, one of the first families to get destroyed. The family is tied to prostitution, drug trafficking, and an organization called Avalon. Our boy isn't even the protagonist. He's Alan Palazzio, an extra villain with a scheduled expiration date. At first, he completely loses it. Then he remembers something important. Knowing exactly what happens over the next 10 years is basically a cheat skill. Not a great one, but he'll take what he can get. So Alan comes up with a plan. Instead of fighting the 5 great sins later, he'll stop them from becoming monsters in the first place. They're still kids after all. The only problem is that he's still powerless. Minor detail, apparently. 2 months later, he recruits a knight named Evan. Alan keeps complimenting him, but his new face barely shows emotion, so every conversation comes out weird. Bro looks like he's running on default NPC expressions. Still, Evan is one of the few genuinely loyal characters in Psychedelia, so Alan hires him immediately. Trustworthy people are pretty rare in this game. Meanwhile, Alan asks about a girl named Utia. Evan explains she's incredibly strong despite being locked away, which confuses even him. Alan then asks why she wasn't brought over, but quickly decides leaving her there is actually part of the plan. That's because Utia eventually becomes Wrath, one of the 5 great sins. In the future, she'll make a contract with an otherworldly being and kill hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah, that's a pretty serious villain arc loading. Alan's logic is simple. If Utia grows up peacefully, she never becomes Wrath. As far as he's concerned, that's one massive landmine successfully defused. When Evan asks for an explanation, Alan just says it's not time yet. He orders Evan to keep everything quiet, provide financial support, and deliver a letter to Utia. Officially, the letter is meant to comfort her. In reality, Alan fills it with lines he remembers from a spell used during Wrath's story route. In the game, those words always fail because they're used too late. This time, he's hoping early access changes the outcome. Later, Alan decides it's time to move on to the next future disaster. Even he admits the whole plan sounds ridiculous. His strategy is basically speedrunning friendship with future world-ending monsters. Elsewhere, Utia reads the letter while Evan watches. He can sense an absurd amount of mana from her, but she barely shows any emotion. Something about her is definitely off. Then Utia asks why her master doesn't want her by his side yet. The moment she hears Alan's message about timing, everything changes. She recognizes the phrases in the letter and believes they're a promise that only her master would understand. Just like that, the future Bloody Queen Utia, the future Sin of Wrath, is completely won over. Meanwhile, Alan is asleep, convinced he just extended his luxurious lifespan and already thinking about which future catastrophe to fix next. My guy has no powers, but he's somehow playing this world like New Game Plus. Alan spends his days digging through books for clues about the 3rd boss when Evan suddenly reports that they've successfully rescued the 2nd child he mentioned. Our boy immediately makes sure the kid was treated kindly after being saved from an illegal slave market. A pretty low bar, but this world keeps finding ways to disappoint. Just then, Tonio barges into the library and starts messing with Alan like usual. He mocks him for studying, grabs him by the collar, and generally acts like the kind of guy everyone wants removed from the family tree. Since Alan has zero combat power and values staying alive, he swallows his pride and backs off. Right then, Leo shows up and shuts the whole thing down. He drives Tonio away, calls him out for reeking of drugs, and reminds everyone why the Palazzio family is such a disaster. Meanwhile, Alan quietly escapes before the brothers turn the library into a boss arena. As he reflects on everything, our boy realizes the family's influence is way bigger than he remembered. Leo controls a massive prostitution network while Tonio runs a huge drug cartel. Alan immediately decides he wants absolutely nothing to do with either of them. Survival first, dignity later. After barely surviving another round of family nonsense, he starts thinking about the 2nd child Evan rescued. The details don't add up. Somehow this kid knew about secret slave markets and illegal experiments happening far away. That's not exactly normal orphan behavior. Then Alan reveals who the kid actually is. The child they rescued is Deus Macalian, the future Sin of Sloth and the 2nd boss of Psychedelia. After years of slavery and abuse, he eventually becomes one of the 5 great sins and turns into a walking catastrophe. The thing is, Deus was never lazy at all. He was known for working harder than anyone and repaying both kindness and cruelty many times over. That's why Alan specifically told Evan to treat him well. My guy is trying to stop the villain arc before it even loads. Just like with Utia, Alan decides it isn't time to bring Deus close yet. Instead, he sends him to the orphanage and has Utia look after him. He also keeps up his weird strategy of solving world-ending threats through childcare. Meanwhile, Utia meets Deus and immediately recognizes traces of the suffering he went through. She tells him he's been chosen and promises that if he follows their master's will, he'll eventually get his revenge. Bro got recruited before he even unpacked. Back at the estate, Alan's peaceful planning session gets interrupted when Evan bursts in with bad news. Tonio is dead. At the funeral, Alan learns Tonio supposedly died from an accidental fall. Nobody seems particularly sad about it either. Even Tonio's own father brings drugs and women to the funeral, which tells you everything you need to know about this family. The situation feels wrong to Alan because it doesn't match the game at all. In Psychedelia, Tonio survives much longer before eventually getting killed by Leo. But now he's already gone, and Leo looks way too happy for someone attending his brother's funeral. Alan immediately suspects Leo or Leo's followers were involved. The timeline has already started changing, and that's exactly what he was afraid of. A year passes. Leo absorbs the drug business, the succession problem disappears, and things seem strangely peaceful. During that time, Alan and Utia become pen pals. Somehow, the future Sin of Wrath turned into his most reliable correspondent. Their letters reveal that the rescued kids are adjusting well, and the orphanage keeps attracting new sponsors. Alan starts believing his plan might actually work. Dangerous thought. Eventually, Evan reports that they finally found a clue related to the third boss. Alan gets excited because it means he can start saving another future disaster. Elsewhere, things are a lot less peaceful. Deus and Utia have secretly started wiping out criminal organizations connected to the drug trade. They justify it as preparing the world for their master's return. Alan thinks he's running a sponsorship program. His kids are out here building a secret cult. Together, they launch a massive attack while declaring that everything will proceed according to his will. The Blue Moon has officially entered the game. A few years pass, and Alan finally gets confirmation that the 5th and final future sin has been safely delivered to the orphanage. At that point, our boy realizes he's somehow managed to rescue all 5 great sins before their lives completely fell apart. Against all logic, the plan is actually working. Even finding greed turned out fine thanks to Evan doing most of the heavy lifting. Alan supplied the game knowledge, Evan handled the impossible errands, and together they somehow speedran the world's bad-ending prevention route. After thanking Evan for all the work, Alan admits he's relieved. Evan immediately points out that he doesn't look happy at all. Unfortunately, Alan's face still refuses to cooperate, so even his smile looks suspicious. Looking back, Alan remembers how terrible things originally were. Every future sin suffered horrific abuse before becoming the monsters seen in the game. He honestly wasn't sure he could save all of them in time, which is why seeing things go smoothly feels almost unreal. Meanwhile, reports from the orphanage keep arriving. The kids who once acted like broken dolls are slowly becoming normal children again. That's probably the first genuinely good sign Alan has seen since getting isekai'd here. The biggest surprise is Utia. She's basically become the orphanage's unofficial caretaker and is doing an amazing job. Even Alan has to admit she turned out way more responsible than expected. The letters keep describing how well everyone is growing up. Deus is doing fine, the other children are improving, and the environment seems healthier every year. It turns out not being tortured constantly does wonders for child development. Then Evan asks the obvious question, when is Alan finally going to meet the kids? Our boy immediately says he never planned to. As much as he wants things to work out, he still remembers what these people became in the game. Even knowing they've been saved, he can't completely shake the fear. The trauma from watching every bad ending is still living rent-free in his head. Eventually, he compromises and says maybe he'll meet them in 5 years. That's about as much commitment as he can handle right now. Still, Alan knows he can't rely entirely on changing the future. He needs enough strength to protect himself if things go wrong. Luckily, this body's magical talent is actually excellent. While training, he asks Evan about a group called the Blue Moon. Evan explains they've recently become famous for hunting criminal organizations and cleaning up the underworld. Sounds heroic enough. Alan has never heard of them in the original game, so he assumes they'll disappear eventually. Then Evan casually mentions they also kill nobles. Our boy immediately tells Evan to start sleeping outside his room. Elsewhere, the Blue Moon is holding a meeting at the orphanage. And this is where things get very concerning. Utia is now effectively leading the organization, while the other future sins handle missions across the kingdom. Seal Rang wipes out slave traders. Rinna handles operations in the south. Radon destroys illegal human experimentation sites and crushes Avalon members causing trouble. Basically, Alan saved the future world-ending villains, and they responded by becoming a world-ending vigilante group. The entire organization worships the Great Moon, which is their nickname for Alan. The problem is that Alan has absolutely no idea any of this exists. Then Utia discovers a document connected to the Altea family. The order specifically mentions poisoning Alan after Count Palazzio dies. The moment she reads it, her mood changes completely. 2 years later, Count Palazzio dies from what is publicly called heart failure. Alan immediately suspects it was actually caused by overdosing, which honestly sounds more believable given everything he knows about this family. At the funeral, people are already talking about another blue moon attack that happened the night before. The reputation keeps growing while Alan remains completely unaware that he's their accidental god king. Once the funeral ends, Evan asks what comes next. Alan takes one look at the situation and decides he's leaving. His plan is simple: move to a small southern town called Rodmill, avoid the succession mess, and live quietly. For once, the man has a reasonable idea. Unfortunately, 3 days later he's back at another funeral. This time it's Leo. Alan is completely blindsided. Leo wasn't supposed to die yet, and now he's been stabbed through the heart. The timeline is changing faster than ever, and nobody seems to know who did it. Things get even worse when Evan asks whether Alan was the one responsible for making Avalon disappear overnight. Suddenly our boy realizes everyone might think he's the mastermind behind everything. Not long before all that chaos, Alan was already on his way to Rodmill with Evan. While Evan suggested moving somewhere bigger, our boy refused immediately. Rodmill was always the goal. His reasoning was simple. He wanted to save the 5 great sins, stop the world's destruction, then retire somewhere completely unrelated to the main story. Rodmill had nothing to do with the game's plot, which made it look like paradise. In Alan's ideal future, he'd spend his days doing absolutely nothing. Honestly, after everything he's been through, that's a pretty reasonable dream. Meanwhile, back at the estate, Leo watches Alan leave and debates whether he should kill him. He eventually decides there's no reason to bother since Alan is voluntarily disappearing to the border. Even so, something about Alan keeps bothering him. That feeling becomes important very quickly. Leo orders his loyal subordinate Almond to follow the carriage. Instead of obeying, Almond suddenly questions the order. That alone is enough to throw Leo off because Almond never talks back. Then the guy immediately stabs him. Leo can't even process what's happening before Almond reveals he's secretly a member of the Blue Moon. The moment Leo even considers harming their precious Great Moon, Almond decides his employment contract has officially expired. Bro really got fired in the most literal way possible. As Leo dies, Almond explains that Avalon will disappear forever because of Leo's own actions. According to him, Alan had already given Leo a chance. Elsewhere, completely unaware of any of this, Alan wakes up in Rodmill and immediately starts living his dream life. He sleeps whenever he wants, eats whatever he wants, and finally experiences what being a noble is supposed to feel like, for about 4 days. Then a letter arrives. Leo is dead, and Alan is being summoned back immediately. Just like that, his free trial of heaven expires. Back at the estate, things somehow get even weirder. The servants practically run away whenever Alan walks past them. Evan then asks when Alan became the county's secret shadow ruler. Our boy is understandably confused. Evan lays out the logic everyone else is using. Alan benefits the most from Leo's death. He conveniently left right before the murder. Avalon disappeared. Now he's the heir. From the outside, it looks incredibly suspicious. The rumor spreading through the county is basically that Alan orchestrated everything from the shadows and removed a Swordmaster level threat without lifting a finger. The problem is that Alan has no idea who actually did it. While Alan desperately tries to understand what's happening, the real culprits are investigating as well. At the orphanage, Udia and the others discover that somebody wiped out Avalon before they could finish the job themselves. Deus reports that hundreds of Avalon members were eliminated, and the entire organization collapsed within days. Even Udia admits the cleanup wasn't perfect. While searching through the remains, they uncover documents connecting Avalon to the Altea dukedom. That immediately catches Utia's attention. After reviewing the evidence, she decides she'll personally handle the matter. And just like that, another future disaster starts moving toward Alan without him even realizing it. Back at the orphanage, Utia gathers everyone after learning about the Altea family's connection to Avalon. She makes it clear that this situation has to be handled quietly and, more importantly, Alan can never find out about it. The whole group agrees immediately. To them, Alan is the Great Moon, the guy who knows everything and never makes mistakes. The funny part is that our boy would probably pass out if he heard any of this. Utia keeps reminding everyone that they exist to carry out his will and shouldn't act recklessly. Even she seems nervous about disappointing him. Somehow, the strongest person in the room is terrified of getting caught by a guy who spends most of his time panicking. Meanwhile, Alan is suffering through a completely different nightmare. After Leo's funeral, an entire month disappears under endless paperwork. Since both of his brothers died way earlier than they were supposed to, all the family responsibilities land directly on him. The workload is so brutal that he starts questioning whether nobles are actually supposed to live like this. My guy got isekai'd into management. To make things worse, everyone around him is suddenly working harder than ever. The servants are convinced he's some terrifying mastermind controlling everything from the shadows, so nobody wants to make a mistake around him. Alan just wants people to handle things normally, but every attempt somehow makes him look even scarier. At least his training is paying off. Evan points out that Alan has already reached the second tier in poisoncraft after only 2 years of self-study. That's far faster than normal and proves he genuinely has talent. Alan admits he's been training obsessively because he's terrified of dying. Pretty fair motivation in a dark fantasy world. The problem is that talent only gets him so far. After experimenting with all kinds of magic, he discovers a brutal truth. His mana haul is tiny. No matter how hard he trains, his natural mana capacity has a hard limit. It's basically the fantasy equivalent of getting terrible base stats. Bro finally unlocked magic and immediately got hit with the skill issue notification. Just then, Evan hands him an invitation to a noble ball. Alan decides attending might help him build connections before becoming count. Since he wants a peaceful future, making allies sounds like a good idea. Unfortunately, the second he arrives, everyone starts avoiding him. The rumors about him eliminating Leo and destroying Avalon have spread so far that most nobles treat him like a walking disaster zone. Every attempt at socializing somehow makes things worse. At one point, he compliments a noblewoman's wine and accidentally convinces her that he's demanding tribute. His networking strategy is getting cooked in real time. As the night continues, Alan realizes Palazzio's reputation is far worse than he thought. Instead of making friends, he keeps collecting gifts from terrified nobles who want him to leave them alone. Eventually, he escapes to a balcony for some fresh air. That's where a girl named Loria approaches him. She introduces herself as the third daughter of Duke Altea and immediately asks for help. Then she drops a bombshell. According to Loria, her father's condition is worsening, her older sisters are preparing to kill her, and she's going to be assassinated soon. Alan quickly realizes why he doesn't remember her from the game. She probably died before the story even started. Loria offers a huge reward and begs for his protection, but Alan refuses. It's not because he doesn't feel bad for her, he genuinely does. The problem is that he can barely keep himself alive right now and doesn't want to give her false hope. So he wishes her luck and walks away. Unfortunately, someone else overhears everything. Members of the Blue Moon are secretly watching from above. After hearing Alan's response, they immediately decide to pass his wishes along and continue dealing with the Altea family themselves. Meanwhile, they remain focused on keeping all information about Avalon away from him. The misunderstanding somehow keeps getting worse. Back on the ballroom floor, Alan notices that people are still avoiding him. Just when he thinks the night can't get any stranger, another woman approaches. This time, it's Kalia Zenonia. Alan instantly recognizes her as one of the kingdom's major shadow players and the heir of a powerful criminal organization. The moment he sees her, every survival instinct starts screaming. All he wants is useful connections and a peaceful life. Getting involved with someone like her is the exact opposite of that. So he keeps things polite, gives a compliment, and tries to leave as quickly as possible. Kalia seems amused by the whole interaction and tells him she's looking forward to meeting him again. That single sentence is enough to make Alan even more nervous. Elsewhere, Blue Moon members continue monitoring the situation. They confirm the Avalon information is still contained, but they discover someone else is secretly watching Alan. And whoever it is, they decide that person needs to disappear. Loria reveals that she's the daughter of Duke Altea's mistress and has only survived this long because her father protected her. Now his condition is getting worse. Her older sisters are preparing to move against her, and she's convinced she'll be assassinated soon. After hearing the whole story, Alan quickly figures out why he never remembered her from the game. She probably died before the main story even started, which is why she never appeared at all. Loria begs for help and even offers half of the Altea family's fortune. Unfortunately, our boy shuts it down immediately. It's not that he doesn't sympathize with her. The problem is that he can barely keep his own life together. From his perspective, stepping into another noble family's deathmatch sounds like speedrunning a bad ending. So Alan politely refuses, wishes her luck, and walks away. Meanwhile, hidden observers from the Blue Moon watch the entire conversation unfold. The moment they hear Alan's response, they interpret it in the most dangerous way possible. To them, the Great Moon has already made his intentions clear. Since Loria isn't connected to Avalon, she isn't a target. The rest of the Altea family is a different story. At the same time, they're still working overtime to make sure information about Avalon never reaches Alan. The misunderstanding is somehow becoming an entire religion. Back on the ballroom floor, Alan notices nobody wants to stand near him anymore. At this point, he's genuinely wondering whether he has some kind of antisocial barrier active. Then a woman finally approaches him. For one brief moment, he thinks he's about to have a normal conversation with another noble. The dream dies instantly. The woman introduces herself as Kalia Zenonia, one of the kingdom's major shadow players. Alan immediately recognizes her from the game and starts mentally screaming. The Altias control the north, the Palazios control the east, and the Zenonias dominate the west. This is not the kind of networking opportunity he wanted. Alan knows her family operates more like a highly organized criminal syndicate than a normal noble house. As far as he's concerned, getting involved with her is exactly how peaceful lives disappear. Still, he stays polite, compliments her, and tries to end the conversation as quickly as possible. Kalia seems amused by the whole thing and says she's looking forward to meeting him again. That somehow makes Alan even more nervous than before. Meanwhile, Blue Moon agents continue watching from the shadows. They confirm the Avalon situation is still under control, but another problem appears. Someone else is secretly monitoring Alan. The moment they identify the threat, they decide to keep watching and eliminate them later. Elsewhere, Alan finally leaves the ball and heads toward his real objective. The entire trip south wasn't actually about noble networking. It was about a hidden dungeon from the game called the Labyrinth of Whispers. After spending ages searching for it, he finally finds the entrance. Our boy is more excited about a video game dungeon than an aristocratic ball. Priorities. According to the game, clearing all 8 puzzle rooms rewards a powerful artifact. Since Alan memorized every route and solution years ago, he's confident this will be easy. As he moves through the labyrinth, Evan becomes increasingly suspicious about how Alan somehow knows everything. Alan brushes it off and keeps going. The puzzles are just as brutal as he remembers, but eventually they reach the treasure room. There are plenty of valuable items inside, yet Alan ignores all of them and goes straight for a black ring. Evan thinks it looks completely useless. Alan disagrees immediately. The ring is called the Oath of Restraint, and it's the artifact he came here for from the very beginning. After securing it, he refuses to touch any of the other treasures. Taking more loot would only create unnecessary problems. For once, everything seems to have gone perfectly. Then golems appear, because of course they do. The stone piles around the labyrinth suddenly reveal themselves as enemies, trapping Alan and Evan in the worst-case scenario. Evan prepares to fight while trying to get Alan out safely, but our boy stops him. Instead, Alan activates the Oath of Restraint. The artifact responds and asks him to declare restrictions he will place upon himself in exchange for power. Just like in the game, a choice window has appeared. Only this time, it's real. After activating the Oath of Restraint, Alan finally tests the power he got from those restrictions. What should have been a normal second circle, chain lightning suddenly turns into a giant nuke and wipes out the golems in one shot. Even Evan is standing there wondering what kind of second circle magic he just witnessed. Once they leave the labyrinth, Evan immediately asks if Alan has been hiding his strength. Our boy denies it because he's just as confused as everyone else. Back in the game, this spell was never supposed to hit that hard. As they walk out, Alan pieces together what happened. The hand signs and incantations from the game seem to stack and modify spells in reality, and the restrictions from the ring boosted everything even further. Bro accidentally discovered a build the devs never balanced. Later, Alan remembers that the Labyrinth of Whispers used to be called the Maze of Palion. According to old game information, a guy named Palion created it. He files that away for later and heads home after spending 3 straight weeks dungeon crawling. On the way back, he keeps analyzing the magic. In the game, these enhancements only change numbers. In reality, every phrase physically changes the spell itself. That discovery gets his full attention. Meanwhile, a mysterious green-haired woman enters the labyrinth after they leave. She studies the ancient glyphs and realizes they belong to the era of the forgotten outer gods. The inscriptions mention Palion, the legendary emperor who stopped ancient disasters and became one of history's greatest figures. The woman is shocked because Alan casually knew things that shouldn't exist anywhere inside her ancient library ability. Then she starts connecting dots. The Bloody Queen follows Alan. He knows impossible information. He somehow understands secrets tied to Palion himself. At this point, she's convinced our boy is hiding something absurd. Elsewhere, another shadowy agent reports that one of their operatives is dead. The situation gets flagged for investigation before more information can be gathered. Meanwhile, Kalia Zenonia keeps thinking about her encounter with Alan. She reveals that she's secretly controlling the Zenonia family from the shadows while using her father as a puppet. Casual noble family activities. When one of her subordinates ends up dead without exposing any secrets, Kalia realizes the killer deliberately left the body where she'd find it. Instead of panicking, she smiles. As far as she's concerned, Alan identified one of her biggest weaknesses the moment they met, and somehow that only makes him more interesting. Back at the Altia estate, Loria keeps thinking about Alan. From her perspective, he's the terrifying mastermind who controls everything from the shadows and never makes a move without planning 10 steps ahead. She originally approached him because she had nothing left. Her siblings stripped away her power, her allies were gone, and her father's protection was fading fast. Then everything changed overnight. 2 of her siblings suddenly die. The remaining heirs disappear right after. Before she can even process it, every obstacle standing between her and succession vanishes. Loria immediately assumes Alan orchestrated the entire thing. Bro said good luck and accidentally became a final boss in her head. As a result, she becomes the sole successor of the Altea family and eventually inherits the dukedom. The more she thinks about it, the more convinced she becomes that Alan planned everything from the beginning. Later, she sends him an expensive bottle of wine as a thank you gift. Alan receives it and is completely confused about why the newly crowned Duke Altea is sending him presents. Meanwhile, Loria keeps expanding her influence while trying to figure out what Alan actually wants from her. She concludes that someone as powerful as him must have a massive long-term plan involving the Altea name. Back at the Palazzio estate, Alan asks about Leo's killers but still gets nowhere. Since most of the timeline changes seem connected to his own actions, he decides the best option is simply preparing for future surprises. Then he receives another letter from Utea. The letter updates him on how everyone is doing, and Alan is genuinely happy to hear the kids are growing up well. That's when he realizes they're finally old enough to leave the orphanage. So our boy decides it's time. He sends each future sin their own personal gift and encourages them to start building lives for themselves. In his mind, the mission is basically complete. Meanwhile, the recipients open their letters and celebrate. To them, fresh instructions from the Great Moon have arrived, which means the misunderstanding continues at full speed. The moment the letters arrive, Utea gathers everyone together. The others think they're just reading messages, but Utea treats them like classified mission briefings. At this point, she could probably find hidden orders in a grocery list. She explains that Alan has been disguising instructions as casual conversation from the very beginning. According to her, every greeting, every question, and every piece of small talk was actually coded guidance for the Blue Moon. The others finally get access to the older letters and start studying them. Once Utea explains her logic, everyone immediately accepts it. Nobody even considers the possibility that Alan was just being nice. When someone asks why they don't simply meet him in person or use magic communication, Utea shuts it down immediately. As far as she's concerned, if Alan chose letters, there must be a reason beyond their understanding. Then everyone checks their new assignments. Deus is sent to Caliburn. Seal Ring heads toward the colony. Rinny is ordered to Larthania. Utea goes to the Holy Kingdom. Each letter also contains instructions for their future careers along with hidden gifts. Before they leave, Utea reminds them of one rule. Unless Alan brings it up first, nobody mentions the Blue Moon. Which is hilarious because Alan doesn't even know the Blue Moon exists. Meanwhile, Alan spends his time researching the strange phrases and magic enhancements he discovered after clearing the labyrinth. Unfortunately, no books contain any useful information. He also finally gives up investigating Leo's killers. The more he thinks about it, the more dangerous the entire situation feels. My guy decides ignorance is a valid survival strategy and walks away. Just then, Evan brings news about Deus. Apparently, Deus became a knight in Caliburn. Alan is thrilled. One of his kids is doing well, and that's all he really cares about. Then Evan keeps talking. Deus didn't just become a knight, he formed an entire knight order. Alan nearly falls out of his chair, and before he can recover, Evan drops another bombshell. Deus is already being treated as the 5th Master Knight of Caliburn, despite not even creating his derivation yet. That achievement should take decades. Even the legendary Reinhardt needed over 20 years to reach that level. Deus somehow speedran the entire progression tree. Our boy immediately realizes Deus might become stronger than one of the greatest swordsmen in history. The proud parent energy kicks in fast. Later, Alan wonders why none of the kids ever write back directly. He only gets updates through Utea, even though he rescued all of them. Still, he's happy enough knowing they aren't destroying the kingdom. The standards remain surprisingly low. Meanwhile, in Caliburn, we finally see Deus's side of the story. Looking back, he remembers losing everything to the Black Things and living with nothing but hatred and revenge. Being saved by the Great Moon wasn't enough to earn his loyalty at first. What changed was the promise that one day he'd get revenge with his own hands. So he joined the Blue Moon, survived countless dangerous missions, and trained relentlessly for years. Then he received his first personal order from Alan, along with a gift. At first, Deus wasn't interested. Then he opened it. Inside was his little sister, whom he believed had died long ago. Just like that, the gift became more valuable than anything else in the world. For Deus, finding out his little sister was still alive changes everything. He listens as Silly explains what happened after they were separated. She spent years trapped in a prison, barely surviving while waiting for her turn to die. Then she escaped, nearly got sold into slavery later, and was eventually saved by Evan. After that, she received medicine, protection, and financial support from a sponsor. That sponsor was Alan. The moment Deus sees the letters, everything clicks into place. Alan somehow knew about his sister even though nobody should have known she was alive. Bro starts connecting dots so hard he practically unlocks a new skill tree. Looking back, every confusing thing suddenly makes sense. The warnings, the timing, the impossible knowledge. the way Utia always trusted him without hesitation. Deus realizes he was asking the wrong questions the whole time. Instead of wondering how Alan knew everything, he starts accepting that Alan simply does. From his perspective, the Great Moon had been protecting his family from the shadows long before he ever met him. That realization hits harder than any sword. As Siley happily enjoys her new life, Deus quietly swears to repay everything he's been given. His new goal is simple. He'll become a Master Knight, create the strongest Knight Order possible, and one day offer that strength to Alan. Meanwhile, Alan is lying around enjoying what he thinks is a peaceful life. The man has no idea he's accidentally creating fanatics across the continent. After returning from the labyrinth, he spends months researching the strange phrases tied to his magic. Since nobody else remembers this ancient system, he has to figure everything out through trial and error. Eventually, he discovers several rules. Different phrases modify spells in different ways. Refraction expands effects. Repulsion changes projectile behavior. Blue light boosts lightning-related magic. Line of diffraction adds penetration. More importantly, the order matters. Use the wrong combination and the spell falls apart. Our boy basically found an ancient spellcrafting system hidden behind forgotten game mechanics. Despite his terrible mana capacity, he actually starts enjoying the research. After weeks of testing, he finally creates a new spell combination and watches the result transform in front of him. The effects are completely different from what the game ever showed. Then Alan notices two unexpected visitors. Kalia Zenonia is standing there with her father. And the moment her father sees Alan's magic, he mistakes it for origin magic. That's a ridiculous conclusion, because origin magic belongs to monsters at the top of the world's power scale. Unfortunately for Alan, this misunderstanding is about to become someone else's absolute certainty. And that's a wrap, homies. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Drop your thoughts below and hit subscribe for more spicy recaps. Till next time, sayonara.